what Pisces knows is that beyond the physical matter of us injecting that chicken, that young, with whatever we need to inject it with so it can get big, Pisces knows that what we did in that moment is give it negative energy. We basically killed it in that moment because we started getting it ready for death. We stopped doing what? We stopped caring about it. Are you with me? We stop caring about it. This is what Pisces does to themselves when they're unevolved. Because fundamentally, underneath it is there needs to be some love. There needs to be some care. If there's love and care underneath it, I'm not going to spend my time judging a trans man or a trans woman because fundamentally I know they're a human being. And I know they go through the same bullshit that I go through. And I know the last thing they need in this world, in this dark, difficult world, is for me to come and pile on unnecessarily. So Pisces is going to be nice. Pisces is going to be kind because Pisces knows it's not easy. Even when you try to be the best person you can be, it's not easy. Even when you try to be the nicest person you can be, it's not easy. Even when you try to do the right thing by everybody and stay true to yourself, it's not easy. So if there's anything that I can do to make your ride easier, I will do it because I know at the end of the day, I'm doing it to myself. But when I become overwhelmed with the pain of the world and I am no longer able to feel anything, or all that I feel is despair and I've lost my connection with God, where I go to get my strength to get through that pain so I can continue to hope for the good, magical moments out of life. Whenever I've gotten to a place that is, so dark that I can't see the light anymore, I fundamentally stopped caring about myself. I don't care about this ride anymore. I don't care. I don't want to get better. I don't want to get worse. I don't care. I'm just here waiting to die. So death is the opposite of abundance. Death is the opposite of blessings, right? Pisces wants to feel good times. Pisces want good moments. So Pisces spends their lives giving good moments so that they're hoping to get back good moments. Next page. Kindness is cheering someone up when they're sad. That's the other thing. Because Pisces is so sensitive, they always know who the saddest person in the room is. And it's very annoying. This is not something they want to do. This is not something that they wish they could do. This is not something that can help. They can just be in a space and feel all the energy that everybody is giving off. So when you're heartbroken, when your heart is wounded, when you're going through a tough time, when life isn't being nice to you, Pisces always feels it very, very hard. Even when you have not told them a single thing about it. It even gets worse when you tell them about it. They just feel everything so intensely. So when their heart is broken by your pain, they just want to make it better in whatever way they can because their heart breaks too. So in helping you, they're truly helping themselves, which is what an evolved Pisces does. They understand there's another way to use those narcissistic traits of Pisces, which is I'm going to become obsessed with making things better for people, with helping people. Okay? It's the same energy, just used differently. They always know when somebody's sad, and they always make it a point to make them feel better. And then the last page said, it's easy to be kind. Which is the thing about Pisces. Pisces knows being kind is always easier. Pisces knows being kind is always the best thing to do. Pisces knows being kind is always the right answer because it's always God's answer. If you were listening to spirit, if you were listening to your intuition, if you'd been doing your work and you were listening to spirit and doing your work, you would know that being kind is always the right thing. Because even if that person is accumulating bad karma on themselves for not being kind back, their karma is not going to affect you. Like if I'm nice to you and you decide to be cruel to me, you're still getting your bad karma for being cruel to me, or vice versa. So because of that, me being nice to you is always a good thing for me, regardless of what you do. Because regardless of what you do, I'm getting good karma for being kind to you. My bucket of good deeds is getting filled by being kind to you. Now, whether you want to squander your bucket of good deeds or not is really none of my business. It's none of my business. And I stay out of that. I stay out of that. The thing is, Pisces can handle situations when they go to God. Because when they go to God, they understand I'm not God. God is God. So I'm just a humble servant witness of this story. I'm here to do this thing. Let me just tell whoever sent me here what's going on as I'm going through it. Because of that, they never get confused about their position in the story. Because they're always talking to a higher power. When you're always talking to a higher power, you know your position is not high. You know you're not the highest power. You know you're not even a higher power. And you know that the only time you're ever allowed to feel like a higher power is when the highest power gives you some of their power. You get that because you get how energy works. But not for 1 second do you trip and think that it's your decision to tell everybody how to feel about Donald Trump. It's your decision to tell everybody how to feel about R. Kelly. It's your decision to condemn R. Kelly and Donald Trump. Pisces never feels like that's their place because they know they're not God. They know their place. They honor their place. And they're walking with a humble heart because, again, they've done it all. They know how it goes. They know how it goes. They know how messed up the play can be sometimes without you controlling it. They know how bad things happen. They know how good people do bad things. They know it. They've seen it. They've been that person. So because of that, they're slow to judge. Because of that, they're quick to understand. Because of that, they're quick to give love. They're quick to give compassion. They're quick to give understanding. They're quick to give whatever is going to make your situation feel better. Whatever is going to make you feel better in this moment. Because really the rest of it is none of my business. And I'm not about to get tripped up with whatever bad karma you got going on by absorbing some of it for you. Because no, you're not about to make me into an evil person because you want to be an evil person. Because no, you're not about to mess up my karma because no, I'm still going to give you what's good. I'm still going to give you what's good. I'm still going to give you what's good. Because when I give you what's good, I give it to myself. And I don't want to give myself what I don't want. So I give you what's good. And a lot of people's heart cannot understand that because they're still trapped in their ego. You know, think about the ego of a 12-year-old. Compare that with the ego of a 90-year-old. Different people. The 90-year-old has seen some things. Pisces isn't caught up in thinking that they're the best thing that's ever walked Earth. They're the best thing since sliced bread. Because they know 1 million people came before them and 1 billion more are coming after them. All they're worried about is making sure they get their ride correct. Okay? Because they're not trying to come back here to do this entire ride all over again. And the only way to get their ride correct is by being a loving and kind person. And a truly evolved Pisces is able to extend that same loving energy and kindness to themselves so that they don't allow other people's drama to drown them, so that they lose sight of their own personal goals. So that's basically my story about kindness for Pisces. You know, what they're actually here to learn about kindness that was taught to them when they were little, but that they forgot. So this is about remembering a lot of these things that were taught to us as kids that we forgot. Because a lot of us forget along the way that we shouldn't bully the new coworker. You know, a lot of us forget along the way that being nice to the new person is the kind thing to do. A lot of us forget along the way to say thank you to the person that holds the door for us when we're going into a building. A lot of us forget along the way to say please and thank you for the kind things that people do for us. A lot of us forget along the way to recognize who the saddest person is in the room and to extend that person the love that they're not getting because we see it as our responsibility, because their sadness reflected at me helps me acknowledge the sadness that I have felt in me about my life sometimes. So I see that sadness and I say I honor it because I know how that feels.
You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo for all of your astrology content. Thanks so much for watching.